verse 841. Being confused in mind, the ignorant view Nirvana as the disappearance of the existent. But since the wise see into reality as it abides in itself, they have a truer insight. This term Nirvana probably hasn't been very helpful, although it's probably much of what's been written about Nirvana that hasn't been very helpful. We get explanations like Nirvana means being blown out, no more future births, some kind of personal extinction, the light of transmigration has been extinguished. Well, that's only appealing if you're a very depressed person and you want an end to it. It's like some kind of metaphysical suicide. But this is being confused in mind and viewing Nirvana as the disappearance of the existent. And what we're invited to do here is to see into reality as it abides in itself. This is an important phrase. As enlightenment practitioners, we come back to awareness as it is in itself, before it's actually aware of anything. That sounds a bit confusing and contradictory, doesn't it? Because it has to be realized. When you start talking about these things, they become confusing. So we realize the truth for ourselves. Now this is insight. I mentioned insight a couple of verses ago. It's come to have a very specific meaning in certain circles. But insight is really insight into the nature of the awareness that is hearing these words. Awareness is happening where you are. And this, as verse 839 said, or in terms of what verse 839 said, is the path, the truth, and insight. The path, the truth, and the insight. This is it. You have the path opening up in front of you. You have the path opening for you right now as you're hearing these words. What is it that is hearing these words? It's awareness. What is the nature of this awareness? Well then, you're coming back to awareness as it abides in itself. This awareness holds the whole universe. This awareness is free of the existent. The existent is the apparent world and the apparent individual. It's consciousness itself. A few videos ago I mentioned what for me was a new understanding of Nirvana, what it actually means. Samsara, the opposite of Nirvana, is about being bound. It's being bound by the existent, limited by notions of a world and an individual being in this world. Nirvana means unbound. Unbound. And this means total freedom. Total freedom. deep in our being. It means we have no reason to be miserable. Well, actually, there are plenty of reasons to be miserable, but we don't have to listen to them because they're all part of the existent. We're no longer bound up with these reasons. And this is the wonderful nature of these teachings. It's sometimes missed when you get involved in lots of meditative practices about training the mind and cultivating mindfulness and trying to be a better person and being more positive and all that. But actually, you don't need to bother with any of that. Once you realize that this awareness, as it is in itself, this reality, is unconditioned. All the reasons for being miserable are no longer relevant. Go ahead and be miserable if you want, but you don't need to be. That's the point. That's the point. It's like realizing you're in a dream, and you can now decide to be ecstatically happy. Not as a mental exercise, but you feel it. You're not just telling yourself this. You're not just trying to counteract your hypnotized state with a different hypnotized state. You're not just trying to counteract your limited hypnotized state with a more positive hypnotized state. No, you're feeling this. You're feeling this freedom. As enlightenment practitioners, we come to this point of being unbound. Of realizing we no longer need to take anything seriously. We no longer need to take anything seriously. That's possibly the most anarchic statement we could ever make. We no longer need to take anything seriously. Is that liberating? Or is the mind reacting to it? I normally qualify this sort of statement. And if you know, if you've watched a few of these videos, you might guess what I might be going to say next. But I'm not going to say it this time. We no longer need to take things seriously. And we can leave it at that. No qualification, no caveats. We can drop all tensions, drop all anxieties, relax. All the little voices going, ah, but what about? Ah, but what about this? Ah, but what about that? These are concerns with the existent. In our enlightenment meditation, which we can do at any time, in any place, in any location. We don't need to worry about all of these. This is our insight. And it's a very happy one. Enjoy it.